Hello, it's not a prepper fireside, believe it or not, despite the company. Yeah.
With the rubber dance tune.
Did you not like it? It was my newsy, dramatic-y entrance that completely
I was waiting
failed.
Michael Flatley doing prepping talks.
Don't pay me enough for that. Right. It is a bit of a semi-serious one today. We will try and keep it light-hearted, as we always do. If that offends you, well, you know where the door is. So this is just a casual, open conversation, gents. No me asking loads of questions and you having to answer. So just go for it whenever you want. We've just seen a second wave of, well, I say wave, a second little flurry of missiles come down at Tel Aviv. Didn't look like any got through in that second one to me. I don't know what you guys thought. It looked like most of them got shot down. That first one big one got through in the center.
They'll always get, I mean, if you fling enough snowballs, one's going to hit, isn't it? No matter how good you are at ducking. So I'm actually just surprised that they've no launched more big swarms.
Do you not think it? I thought this would it not be a way to launch a small cluster so they've got to scramble the jets and the defenses, then they all go back to land, sort of thing, then do it again, and by the time they release the huge swarm, there's less air defenses in that way.
Yeah, or use the ballistic missiles and hit the jets on the ground before they take off in the first place.
I don't think they've got the capability of doing that without being detected, right?
Oh, they'll be detected. It's whether you can hit a bullet with a bullet. It's going to be the problem.
I mean, the whole thing is... Go on, Bri. Sorry.
No. I'm just going to say it'll depend on who runs out first. Whether they run out of ballistic missiles or they run out of defensive missiles. And as the Ukraine's shown, when they start running out of high-tech stuff, they go low-tech. And it seems to be working better for Ukraine and Russia. They're using cheap sort of World War II era V1 bombs. More or less.
Doodlebugs.
And firing doodlebugs.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Andy?
I was going to say, well, the thing, mate, about the Iron Dome is it only takes down missiles that are going to have a negative impact on the country. So if a missile's flying in and it's going to land in someone's backyard and it's not going to do any damage, they'll just let it go. They won't bother taking it out. That's the other thing. So it's all good and well firing 200 ballistic missiles, but effectively, how many do they have to take out to prevent loss of life?
Yeah. This is it. So do you think we've seen? Do you think that's it for tonight, or do you think we're expecting something big?
I don't know how much resources Iran actually have, and how long and how much stockpile they have to sustain it for any period of time. I can't imagine they've got 200 missiles to spend every night for a week. I can't imagine they've got that in the back pocket.
I mean, I assume they've got well, you see the social media and it's always the same panning shot of a tunnel with the missiles in. But if that's all they've got and they're just recycling that footage, then you don't know, do you? But
no. I mean, I know when I was in Israel, mate, in 2012, the British were firing a GM5
Holy
missile.
shit. Mikey, watching the live feed.
Yeah, what am I missing?
There's lots of air defense missiles flying outside from the city now and hitting some things, but there was a couple of big flashes on the ground.
Which feed have you got? Because I've got
Sky News
at the moment.
Oh, there's some hit the ground.
All right, I need to get this on, don't I?
Sky News.
Yeah. There was some impacts there in the city, and some intercepts, but some basically blew in and blew through and smacked the city. There's at least two impacts and explosions.
I wonder why that one's so delayed then, that other one.
Well, there's the latest pictures of the strikes this evening.
We'll
speak now to...
Yeah, I think, wasn't that from the first live? Are they not showing that from the first attack of missiles? At just a different angle of it?
Yeah, could be, mate. Could be.
I didn't notice the two explosions on the last one, though.
Yeah, well, this is a live feed courtesy of GB News of the Tel Aviv skyline, which is live, which I saw the first two on. So I'm keeping an eye on that, and if I hear the alarms or see the dots, I'll pop that up on screen. £5.
See what you were saying about the tunnel full of missiles.
Yeah.
It makes you think, though, how many tunnels have still got doors on them that they haven't blown up last night?
Mm.
They might have to dig some of them out now.
Potentially. They're very active on social media, Iran. I need to do this right. Window, that's the one. There we go. Okay. So we've arrived from the Iran military official page, and then a picture of the one that got through the defenses there. So sorry, there's a £5 super chat, I must acknowledge, from XP. Has World War III started, yes or no? What do you think, gents?
No.
Because, right, so before we answer this, did you see, I've seen several different sources, no one that I'd say 100% reliable, but several different sources saying that North Korea has already said they'll supply weapons for Iran.
I've not seen that, but it wouldn't surprise me either.
Mm.
Because they've got decades worth of shit built up. Some of it they're giving to Russia now, and they need hard currency, they need food, they need oil. So, and what have they got to lose? Everybody hates them anyway.
North Korea supports Iran. North Korea and Russia are in an alliance, and China, obviously, are all part of that ball game. We're looking like it's looking more and more like a world war, is it not?
I don't think we're at a live shooting war. It's still at the proxy stage.
I suppose, mate, in terms of like how we view world wars in history, it's not like that, but it is a world war in terms of there's probably three wars happening around the world at this current moment in time.
Yeah. Kelly says, can somebody give an overview of what has happened? Well, so they had a deadline on the negotiations with Iran to basically relinquish all their material that they're enriching for weapons. That deadline passed. As soon as that passed, pretty much Israel, Netanyahu said, right, this operation we've been planning for a year, now it's got the go-ahead, and they've started targeting nuclear facilities, taking out leadership of the Iranian Guard and the nuclear scientists as well. They took out as well, and that's been ongoing not just last night when we saw a huge flurry, but also during the day today as well. And this tonight we're seeing the start of the Iranian retaliation, which so far has been, I mean, I don't want to tempt fate here, especially for the Israel, you know, but it's been pretty mild. I mean, they shot 300 last time. Do you remember that?
Plus, it was a mixed bag of low-tech and high-tech stuff.
But it came over as a barrage. So far, we've seen two little flurries. But I did hear that the Houthis are launching stuff as well.
Yeah, it could be. I'd heard that earlier on, but it could be that their coordinations went out the window and they were supposed to fire at the same time to arrive at time on target.
Right. So, yeah, late to the party. Well, I mean, he's only been in the job one day, so the commander-in-chief for Iran.
Last one didn't get his pension.
Yeah, congratulations on your promotion. Off you go.
Well, the old one was taken out by, well, it was aided, wasn't it, by a Mossad agent? The old one.
Before this one that's recently gone, yeah. They're not having. If you got promoted to the leadership in the Iranian Guard, you'd be like, "I'll pass. I'll just be a foot soldier. It's okay." Doesn't feel like the safest job to have. I'm really quiet. Am I really quiet?
It sounded okay to me. Well, as much as you ever do.
Hello. How about now?
I've got a semi on the strength of that. I've got to say.
It sounds like David Koresh.
Just going to pan off camera for a minute and just amuse myself. Can you say that for the next 5 minutes?
Oh, Brian.
I just need Miss Worm to start now as well. That'll be it. Clean up
I
aisle
can do
one.
that. I can do that. I've got that. Oh no, I'm not. It's on the fireside thing, not this new one. For Brian's post-apocalyptic Pepsi Max storage fund, I'll put that £5 straight to Coke Zero. Thank you very much, Chronicles.
I hope it chokes you.
I hope you can hear me a little bit louder now. Anyway, I'm just getting to grips with this mic still. Andy, what do you think's happening? Do you think this is going to escalate, or do you think it's going to be tit for tat and then everyone goes back to the negotiating table?
I think it's going to be. I don't think there's going to be anything major, mate, from Iran. I definitely think Israel have got the bigger stick, and Iran know they have, and thrown the odd cluster of ballistic missiles makes them seem like they're doing something to the people of their country, knowing fine well the Iron Dome's going to take it out, and there's going to be no real retaliation.
We can't tar Iran with the same brush because it's not the people, right? A lot of the people don't want that regime in there.
Yeah, true, but for the outside view and for the optics, Iran don't want to be seen just taking hits from Israel. Yeah, they will feel, all the people that run the country will feel we have to show the world that we're going to fight back. But I don't believe, mate, they've got anything that's going to get through the Iron Dome, personally. From being over there in 2012, seeing that works, working with the IDF, firing missiles myself, I don't think they've got anything that's going to get through the Iron Dome.
Well, they've got through once already on
yeah,
Tel
but,
Aviv.
but like I say, mate, because the Iron Dome calculates where it's going to hit, that in essence could have been a calculated move.
All right, so if it can take out, for example, 5 coming in, but there's actually 6 coming in, it works out which one's going to be the least collateral damage.
Yeah,
it?
And it'll let through, mate. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't even know it did.
See the one that get let through. The guy that was in charge of the air defence battery, that was his mother-in-law's house.
Luckily, Brian's not in charge of Scotland's defence force.
Where's Jimmy Cranky's house? Oh shit, we've got a leak and it got through.
There could be many conspiracy theories around that if they could do something like that. Is it possible Iran raising their red flag a signal to sleeper cells to activate in the West? So this was my fear, and this is, I think, where they have their strength, right? It's a fanatical religious group at the end of the day, and they have their strength in terrorist warfare. You know, like they're not an army that's going to go toe to toe with any of the modern day armies, but cells in other countries, in cities and stuff like that. Are we expecting to see activity there?
Can't be, mate. We've got secure borders where we know everybody that's coming into the country. What could possibly go wrong?
The thing with the sleeper cells, mate, for me, in my opinion, I think that is a one-hit wonder. So I believe they're here, and I believe they're around the world, but once they get activated, I think it's a one-hit wonder, and it would have to be... So if they do it now, the time, resources, and plan it would take to do that again might take you over a decade. So would they want to do it now when they're going against Israel? Probably not. If Trump intervened, would that be enough for them to say, right, we're going to hit the button? Potentially. But whilst it's just Israel and Iran, I don't think they would activate them.
It feels like if they were going to do it, it would have been more of a tactical move. I'm not giving anybody ideas here. I'm pretty sure they don't watch the channel. But I think it'd be a tactical move for them to have done that to countries like ourselves, France, whoever's sending RAF support. You know, if we've suddenly got our own problems in a big scale in our own country, the day before all this happens, we'd have less pilots over there helping out, right?
Well, my worry is that everybody learns lessons by monkey see, monkey do. And we've seen what's happened in Ukraine in terms of drone technology. Mm-hmm. It would be naive to think that a state-sponsored group couldn't do something nasty and nefarious like that in the UK, who's to say that they couldn't have their own shipping container full of stuff that's come in and it just goes out and hits, God forbid, commercial airlines as well as military kit? Or they've watched what's happened, the oversized impact of substations catching fire. What if they did that and took out the power grid with a couple of drones? That's my one.
Yeah, it's scary how much. It's on a grand scheme of things. I still think it's a minority, but it's scary to see how many people are supporting Iran in this, just on social media and stuff like that. So, I mean, I live near Manchester, which is very multicultural, but it has areas. Yeah, so like where the synagogue is and stuff like that, and then down the road where the mosques are and stuff like that. So it has areas. Do you think it could trigger regular people, not necessarily sleeper cells? Do you think we could see any sort of civil unrest that way? Anyone?
Yeah, I think so, mate. I think it could trigger. I mean, you've seen the stuff with all the protests with the Palestine and the Hamas people, over the country. So I don't see why this would be any different. This would probably, and you've also probably got the added fact of the people who, if this did trigger anyone to go and protest now or to have civil unrest, the people who already hate Israel will just jump on the bandwagon and tag along with them. It'll be the old case of the enemy of the enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
Look at the civil unrest now in Northern Ireland. It's still ongoing.
Yeah.
23 minutes ago, the Iran military said a statement from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in response to the aggression and criminal assault carried out this morning by a savage terrorist and child-killing Zionist regime. I'm just reading here. On the areas within the Islamic Republic of Iran, resulting in the martyrdom of several senior military commanders, prominent scientists, and innocent civilians, especially defenseless children. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, as a defense of the offensive arm of the Iranian national, has launched a forceful and precise retaliation. That tells me they're done for tonight. Do you not think? Calling it precise means we've not sent that many. I'm trying to read between the lines here.
Don't know.
Yeah, it says Operation True Promise is underway. You what?
Nobody's declared war yet. Everybody's doing a bit of brinksmanship. They're taking nibbles. So at what point is it too big a bite somebody takes and they just go, screw it, we'll just have the whole apple?
Yeah. Zionist cult positions in Tel Aviv have been obliterated, they claim. I mean, looks like all the lights are still on and people are still driving around on my screen, so I don't know what they're looking at.
I'm just reading Phil's comment.
Say again.
Phil's comment in the live chat about the missile defence. He's right to be worried.
Where are we at? Yes. What scares me is we have no mission defence. Missile defense, really. So if it kicks off, we are far away. Also have no defense. See, this is what that War Games is bringing to light, right? Have you had the first 2 episodes of that as well, Andy?
Yeah.
I know, Brian, you listened to
it
it as well.
To it, mate, yeah.
It's scarily accurate to what's going on right now, isn't it?
It is terrifying, mate. I genuinely, mate, when I listened to that, because I watched the first 2 episodes, I just watched on your channel.
Yeah.
And they were great videos, by the way, so I just listened to it through that. But I knew it was bad, and I've always said on the firesides, haven't I, how bad it is. I didn't, even me being as pessimistic as I am, I didn't realise it was that bad. To the point where I spoke to, just to highlight how bad it was, so I spoke to one of the lads today who was MLRS, so multi-launch rocket system, which is my old regiment. I did Exacta, which is a different missile system. But anyway, so he did that. And he was based in Estonia on exercise. And they had a briefing. And they said that where they were based, the Russians could meet them like face to face in an hour and a half. And if anything like that happened, then you would have to deal with it. So his question was, because they only had training rounds, where is my live ammo? If you want me to do that, where is my live ammo? And he said, the response was, well, the live ammo is 3 hours away. So he said, my live ammo is 3 hours away, but the Russians can meet me in an hour and a half. And they were like, yeah. And he was like, well, what do you want me to do? And their words were, mate, you are just a speed bump to slow them down.
Wow.
So that is how bad the situation, mate, is on the ground, how dire it is.
Yeah.
We've spoke about this for multiple firesides, though, and it's been brought up a few times just how perilous static and even limited mobile air defence is in the UK, because we've relied on the fact that the air bumps in the road are Western Europe. Hopefully, before anything gets to us, it gets flashed. But Sky Saber's got like 9 batteries in the UK, and 2 of them are abroad. And we don't know how many are active and how many missiles we've got. Astar, Starstreak, and the other stuff on the Type 45s. I mean, half of them are on dock most of the time, broken.
What was that first one you said, Bri? What was that first missile system?
Sky Saber.
Sky Saber.
See, Sky Saber replaced Rapier, I believe.
Yeah.
Rapier was kind of Falklands era.
Yeah.
Then you've got Sky Saber, with its launchers, height finders, radar, that kind of shit. And then you've got Starstreak, I think, still active.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But other than that, there's not really much left. I think the last static ones was Bloodhound, and that was in the 60s. So
it's the fact it's made us lot think so much, that podcast thing. Is it not a scary thing for a national media to release? Because somebody at Russia will be listening into that as well. I have no doubt.
To be fair, they probably already know. Yeah, they already know. Yeah. They already know how bad it is.
Public don't. Go public. Yeah. I think most of us already knew this and have done for a long number of years, how perilous the conventional army has been reduced. But nobody else does. They don't realise just how vulnerable we are as a country.
Yeah, and even through them first 2 episodes, they've still not really told the public much. Oh, there was a submarine that surfaced next to a ferry and then disappeared again. But we will just ignore that it's all over X and stuff like that. Us preppers would be going nuts.
We've got the 2 aircraft carriers, and we can't even field full air wings on all of them without getting pilots and planes to America. And yet we're floating these big, juicy chicken targets about round about China's doorstep as if it's some sort of threat. It's only a threat if you've got any bullets and guns and planes and pilots on it. Other than that, it's a dartboard.
Can we get them inflatable planes? You know, like when they made the decoy fields from World War II, the inflatable tanks and stuff. We'll get a few of them put on top of it. Might work. Do they even have any horses to tow the 155 millimeters to retreat with? Says Amphia. I mean, this is it. The biggest defense that Iran had against Israel and vice versa was the proxies in between, right? Then this is why they've been pretty much slowly crushed.
Been out, haven't
they? Yeah. So I don't know. I'm surprised it's been so quiet. I was expecting thousands of dots in the sky.
I don't think they have. I don't think they have the. I don't think they have the resources, mate. I don't think they have the ammo.
I think it's all bluster.
Yeah, I do, mate. Yeah.
Well, we know they've been trading hard currency and tech with Russia since the Ukraine war for the last couple of years. So how much have they actually given away? We're surmising they had enough to give away and still have thousands. We don't know.
Yeah.
And then one of their target lists apparently was some of the ballistic missile storage locations. So they might have some buried and they can't get them out of the tunnel.
This is what we're always seeing, right? These tunnel scenes like this. Can you see that on the screen?
Yeah, I can see it, yeah.
But seeing less that's miles and miles long, there's not really that many missiles in there.
That's the end there. So if I had to say, that doesn't even look like the same sort of truck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 each side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and does it go a mile back this way, or is the guy stood right against the wall like you do when you're taking a picture of your house to make it look better? Yeah, there might be a
Well,
mirror.
like the case
That,
with Fighter did that
this
one.
point here might be a mirror, like the optical illusion tunnels.
And also, mate, on that picture, is there anything inside them?
Well, this is it, yeah. That's the old North Korea one, isn't it? When they're doing the parades, and
Yeah.
it's probably just a painted cardboard.
The wooden rifles.
16. That was the 16th of October. That just came up on the side there. Yeah, so I think they're milking this now, like they do, and showing the little.
Yeah, that was the one I was talking about.
See, that's the one. That was the first one that came in. So when you were seeing that, it wasn't live. It was the one from before.
Right.
That's the one that hit down here, that comes down here, that had a massive plume that kind of hovered over it for quite a while.
Okay.
But, I mean, quiet
There's
night.
no fire.
No, that plume's gone pretty straight away, so they must have been on the ball getting that out and sorted. So, it did.
I've been there. I've been there as it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tel Aviv. Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Andy, you're a jinx. Everywhere you go, something bad happens. Afghanistan, Tel Aviv.
change
I've
of
been in an
plan.
airplane with you.
Change of plan. Change of
I'll tell
plan,
you what I'm
Andy.
gonna do. I'm
You're
gonna
not
go
coming
to
to the prepper meet.
I'm gonna go to I might take a trip to York then.
Go and visit Hawkins.
And, that's what I was gonna say, mate. Yeah, I'll go and visit his new his newly implemented solar panels.
He's saying
Today
my
in
audio's
York-
very low as well. What's going on?
Today, there you go. Today in York, freak hailstones, man's fresh solar panels destroyed overnight. Spotted by Andy Lucky, YouTube sensation. Don't bring me into this, he's saying.
Right, is that any better? Is that
I
louder?
can hear you fine, unfortunately, mate.
Everyone's
Yeah,
sounding
I didn't have a
quiet,
problem with it, mate. But
might be because I'm turning away. I've just got to keep doing this Radio 1 voice. I'm just having a look through, see if there's any questions or anything, because it doesn't look like anything happening. Let's have a quick look at what the our good friends at the mainstream media are saying about the whole thing. So this is Sky. Israel attacks Iran's nuclear sites as Trump warns Tehran worse is coming if it doesn't make a deal. So it sounds like they're trying to get them to the table straight away, right? So
He must be
Oh,
laughing
I
at
don't
Barry's
wanna-
Trump, isn't he?
Panasonic advert.
I think as well, mate. Trump, I think he has drastically overestimated how much pull he has and how much weight he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he thought from his first 4 years that he was Billy Big Bollocks and he could just walk into his second term and he was going to say to Putin, "You would do this."
Well, he said he was going to end the war
Yeah,
like
exactly,
on day
didn't he?
one
Yeah.
or something.
I
Didn't
think
he?
he's drastically overestimated how much people listen to him in the global scale now.
He's got a slow watch if that's 24 hours then.
Yeah, it's a very slow watch, yeah. Netanyahu calls on Iranians to help thwart Tehran regime. So calling on them to basically trying to incite them to overthrow the regime themselves. I wonder if that's an avenue that we could see happen.
Plus, you don't know, the CIA's destabilising on the ground as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andy.
I was going to say, when we were on about there about Iran going to send any more missiles, we were talking today about Russia and Ukraine, and there was a Ukrainian battle group which was about 2,500 men, a full Ukrainian battle group, and the Russians took them out in 17 minutes.
Ooh.
With IDF, a full battle group. So, if you were asking me the question about Russia, I would say that they would volley missiles all day long now if it was them, because he's got the stockpile. I see he said that he's going to go. He's now said this year he's got 6.3% of GDP. He's pumping into defence with 245 billion.
Wow.
So mate, I believe they've got balls of steel, mate. They've got a shitload of ammo.
Yeah.
I don't think the Iranians do. I don't think they've got anything left after the last time.
So, I mean, if they've got shitloads of ammo, why were at one point they trying to get it shipped in from North Korea, like the older shells and stuff like that?
It's just a backload of it, isn't it? So you've got all this stockpiled. You then blitz through it faster than you can make it. So then you have to then get it shipped in from other sources, like you were saying there, the old stuff. And while you're depleting that old stuff you've just shipped in, you've then caught up with your backlog of making your own stuff again.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
And to be fair, mate, I would imagine he thought that he was going, when he invaded Ukraine, he was going to blitz it with all that ammunition and ordnance, and they were just going to roll over, and he wouldn't have to go and buy anything from anywhere else, and he could just slowly work it way back up. But the way it went, and the fight they put up, and the weapons they were given to fight back, made him shift his focus, and he had to go elsewhere for the ammo.
Do you think? That's going to sound weird. Do you think they'd rather not have this front opened up because they're putting so much in, like Starmer especially is putting so much support in for Ukraine? Is that because he was very quick to denounce the whole thing this morning, wasn't he?
Do you know the one winner out of all these conflicts, though, is the Chinese? Because they are
supplying
the
everyone.
Yes. They're the world's factory. So at the moment, they're plausible deniability in shipping components to everybody but the Tooth Fairy. And the more the West supports Ukraine and supports Israel or supports anybody, they can quietly make plans to take Taiwan when it's most fortuitous. They've been building those landing craft and testing them for the last couple of months as well.
Yeah. 150 missiles apparently over them 2 waves.
It's not nothing.
It's not a lot, mate. I know. And that's only based off someone who comes from a missile background.
See, for me, that's not a show of force, because the threats that were coming in were basically them saying, "Oh, last time we were just, it was a warning. This time we're going to go for the kill," sort of thing. It's like, well, you've just launched half the amount you did last time. But are they waiting to make it a sustained multi-day? Like you said, Andy, if they've not got the stockpiles.
Maybe they're just having performance anxiety and they're a bit sleepy. They need Viagra for missiles. They're just not woken up yet.
Always the voice of reason. USA has no business getting involved, in my honest opinion, says Mad Chick Acres. That's Mark, Chef Tech, that is.
He was looking for an invite earlier on. Did you see it? Nope. Chef.
Oh, did he?
He posted right at the start of the chat, buddy.
Oh, well, tell me when it happens.
I'm not your mother. I'm just a random fat guy that comes on for bits and giggles.
It's in the chat if you still want it, Chef. Yeah, so...
Hey, Chef, I'll look after you.
Sucking up to the guy with the freeze dryer. I know your game.
Yeah.
Trump alienated the Chinese with tariffs, and if China then pushed to support all the bad players like Russia, they can go on and on, can't they?
Well, they kind of have to support Russia and Iran, mate, because they're in BRICS, aren't they?
Hello.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. I saw your thing pop up. I'm like, send me a link. And I got ignored. But, it's Mike. I get it.
I'm trying to run everything.
I didn't ignore you, Chef, just for the record.
I know you don't. Thank you. I appreciate that, Brian. I'll have to buy you some Diet Pepsi or something.
Diet Coke he likes. He prefers cola.
I hope everybody's getting their preps ready with the crap that's about to happen tomorrow in the United States. This I put it on. It's called No Kings, and it's like this. Every city, and I'm talking. I don't live in a big city. I mean, I live outside of not a big city, and they're doing it in my town, and the next town over, and the next town after that, and they're like, it's just everywhere. You can go to a website called nokings.org, and there's a map, and you can zoom in. You look at the map of the United States. It's just like one giant blob of dots, and you can zoom in everywhere and see what it is. And this is all, and I don't know, it's my opinion of this is just the quiet protest to get everybody started. and I have a feeling it's going to get piggybacked everywhere by the other annoying groups out there that start crap. And then, from 12 to 1, and then after 1 o'clock, all crap's going to break loose somewhere. But they're in all the major cities, most
Yeah.
of the
What's that
next
again?
size cities. Yep, that's it.
Look at the state of that.
Down in the lower right, there's a zoom button. You can zoom in on the DC area there by that.
Oh,
Yeah, scroll to the right a little bit
hang on.
Is this
down.
all against
There we
Trump?
go. How do
Well, no,
close?
yeah, oh yeah, this is all because Trump's he wants to be a king. It's like, no, not really, but whatever you guys think. And this is all being financed by, oh wait for it, the heiress to the Walmart fortune.
All right.
Walmart, our big blue box store that everybody has and everybody likes to go to. Yeah, that's not going to end well for her.
Wow.
He's going to kick her out and make her pay for it.
So, I mean, the fact that the site's not being shut down, how are they selling this? What are they saying the agenda is?
Oh,
Peaceful
it's just,
protest for
yes, it's just a peaceful protest. But like I said, this is not what started in L.A. That's a whole different bag of crap there. But no, they're doing this, and then I'm waiting for the buses because I live between 3 major transport highway hubs, and I see buses all the time, and we're waiting for these white buses with no labels to come in and just start stopping at hotels. There's a bunch of hotels nearby here, and they're just going to load up and wait for it, and that's when they, at 12, 1 o'clock, they wander into the city and start crap. So we don't. It's not it's like we're talking. It's a mixed town. Nobody does anything in this.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Getting a
they
bit
just chill
robot
out.
voice there.
But yeah, we don't need kings.
I mean, we don't do kings. I mean, are they saying Trump is a?
Yeah, he
king
wants to
is-
be the king because he's
Right.
he's getting rid of how come they're not getting rightful court system stuff to get kicked out of the country. It's like, oh, I don't know, maybe because you broke in, you didn't belong here to begin with. So how about just get the F out?
I must admit, I gotta love that argument where they say, but they're not a criminal. Yes, they are. They broke the law when they came in illegally. That's the law.
Well, this is where all the
doesn't matter if you've not robbed Granny's purse after that. That
Right.
was the law you broke.
Yeah, our mainstream is. I mean, all the talking heads and all the politicians on the left side, they're all just like, oh, it's you're taking children away from their parents. It's like, no, we're taking the parents and ask them if they want to take their children back to their home country with them. If they want to take them, great. We're separating families. Like, no, we're not. The people are. If you don't want to take your kid back, fine. Find some place. We'll put them at CPS. That's a whole different bag of crap in our country.
This is bad timing for Trump to then try and get involved with the stuff going on overseas, right? Domestically, he should be concentrating. Could that be why it's all it's happening now?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's so much going on at the same time, and it's all coming together at the same time. You kind of got to wonder, is there some other massively larger picture that is coming to fruition here of what's really going on? Are they really trying to? Because we know there's over 20 million illegals in this country, and a lot of them, they're not all from Mexico and Honduras, contrary to popular belief. They're from all over the world.
And did you see the speech from the sheriff guy earlier on today? And he was saying that if you spit on one of our officers, we'll put you in the hospital, then jail. If you throw a brick at us, we'll basically shoot you until you.
That's the governor down in Florida. Basically, he's like, if you feel like that was another one. If you feel like your life is being threatened by people blocking the street, feel free to run them over. That's basically what he said.
Yeah, that was quite the speech by the law enforcement. If somebody throws a brick at one of our officers,
you throw a rock at us, we'll kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's assault and battery, and or just assault. I mean, it's a threat on your life to throw a brick at a car doing 40 miles an hour off a bridge. Really? And they didn't do anything about it? Oh yeah, that's right. It's Los Angeles, but
it's LA. Yeah, it's crazy times. So let's explore that, Brian. massive agenda across the world or isolated incidents? What do you think?
Would it be hard to coordinate it all? Possibly not. I don't know. I don't know if it's a big scheme to upset the apple cart. I'm not big on conspiracy theories like that. But for sure, we've got conflict in every continent at the moment. Civil unrest in the UK, civil unrest in the United States, war in Europe, war between India and Pakistan, potentially. The Middle East's always in conflict. So I think it'd be easier trying to find a part of the world that isn't shooting at one another.
Yeah.
But is it part of a global domination plan? I don't know, mate. I'd need some convincing, to be honest. What do you think?
I don't think they're frigging that organised.
I mean, I don't think they are either. But I mean, things happen all the time. I don't know. I'm not fear mongering. I'm ready. I mean, I'm. That's why I asked it somewhere earlier on. I was like, I hope everybody's got their preps in order because you may need them here shortly. You may not. I hope I don't need them at all ever.
Has anyone checked the oil price in the last?
We're all good.
Yeah, it went up a little bit, but not much.
It jumped like 7% at one point, didn't it? No, it's up 5.9% in total at the moment. So that means they'll stick an extra £1 on at the pumps, no doubt, for us. Any excuse.
Oh yeah. They did that for us in our state here. We know the barrel price went down. We know the price went down. The state decided, well, if you were willing to pay $3.22 a gallon, and it should be $2.20 and $2.89 a gallon, we're just going to add another 15 cents tax per gallon on your fuel, and nobody will complain. And nobody did because nobody paid attention to that crap. Nobody looks at anything. They're like, oh, it went down a little bit. Yeah, it could have gone down a lot more, but our
The
state
fuel that they've already
legislators.
bought and paid for.
What's that?
It's already sitting in. See that fuel that whenever something bad happens in the world and instantly the fuel price goes up, we're paying for fuel that's already been bought. It's in a tanker or in storage tanks. Did we get screwed twice?
We do. Yeah. My dad used to own a couple gas stations a long time ago when we lived in Maine. And the issue is, okay, your fuel delivery's coming and they tell you the day of, okay, I'm just going to pick a number. It's going to be $1 a gallon. And it's like, okay. And you put it in the ground and you're pumping it out at $1.10 to make your profit. And then the next load is coming and the price is now $1.20 a gallon. So guess what? Before your fuel is even gone, you got to raise your prices because if you don't have enough profit left over to pay for the next load of fuel. The problem is there's no both sides of this. It's okay, and now I have $1.20 fuel in the ground. Well, the next load coming in is only 90 cents. Well, I got to keep it up at $1.20 and change to make up what I lost on the previous load because I was halfway through that at the lower price before I had to pay for the new one. It sounds complicated. It's not. I used to think it was really complicated. My mom, really not.
There's a life lesson here, Andy. Before you put a load in anything, make sure you discuss the price first.
Oh my God!
I told my wife that same thing. She smacked me.
I meant fuel. Mike's got a dirty mind.
You're a terrible human being.
I'm an American. Give me a break.
No.
I think you meant me.
Oh, okay, we're both terrible. Whatever.
I'll tentatively welcome in Renegade Preppers because I don't know who it is. So if somebody flashes on screen all of a sudden, I apologise. Hello.
Hello there. How is everybody?
Hiya.
Hello.
Are you called Renegade Preppers on YouTube? Because I'm really confused.
No, I've got two accounts. So I've got a YouTube account and I've got my personal account. So it's Benjamin. So hi.
Ah, right. Okay. Hiya.
Hello.
Yeah, just joined Discord recently, gents. Have you got 2 cents to add to this one?
In what sense? I missed out because I had to run to the toilet. So what did I miss?
World War III started. I don't know if you missed that bit. There's missiles
you know,
landing.
That's been on the cards for a long time. We knew it was coming. No, in all honesty, I've watched the coverage of Tel Aviv. I put up a few things in Discord about the GB News posting that they were moving the camera from one location to another and mentioned there was like a 15-minute countdown until the strikes. So I've been following since about that this morning, this evening.
Yeah, I assume that's like early launch detection, that they're just getting like information through via that. And I'm assuming there's going to be nothing more, because I've just seen helicopters in the sky above Tel Aviv. So,
well, in all honesty, I mean, I've been following more the Ukraine and Russia side of it. I've obviously seen touches on how Iran and Israel has been going a bit crazy over the last couple of days, especially with the, well, I don't know if you want to call it the breakdown of talks, because let's be honest, this is Trump. You know, look at how it's gone. He was going to end it in 24 hours for Ukraine and Russia.
Them talks were never going to end with the result they wanted, for one simple reason. They've already took out their defence, which was the proxies in Hamas and Hezbollah.
Yeah, exactly.
That was their biggest defence. Without them, they need a nuke to feel safe, or to feel like they're going to keep power.
Oh,
so
definitely.
It was never going to happen. If everything was still in place, all the proxies were still in place, you might have had something to bring to the table.
Well, yeah.
Well, if Israel didn't do it, we've already it's already shown that Tom Cruise can do it in Top Gun Maverick. So if Israel didn't do it, he would just take his team and just take out the Iranian nuke plant.
I reckon the amount that guy does his own stunts, he could do it.
Yeah.
See, if they want to escalate it, though, get Tom Cruise and Chuck Norris in an ejection seat and just parachute in and take out the whole country. Old Chuck.
We need to get all the stunt doubles in the world, put them all together and say, right, you're the new army. You go deal with it. You do this shit on a daily.
I mean, just send Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is, immune to everything, so it's fine.
So I've got a question for you then. Given recent events, has this made any impact on how you're going to prep for the next 24 hours, 48 hours? Is it going to make any great changes?
Do you know what? Last month, yes, it would have. I'd have been topping up and just, topping everything off, taking stock of everything. But because, obviously, I'm moving, everything's already in chaos, half in limbo. I've had to load up the storage unit with most of my preps. So at the moment, no, I can't because my hands are tied. But I would, technically. But this hasn't made me prep more than what that podcast would have.
Yeah.
That's got me thinking more.
So it has made in terms of this, like Mike said, probably that War Games podcast combined with this has probably spurred me on, which is why I mentioned about the Delta 2 to you today.
Yeah.
About getting one, because I've already got the C300 and then I've got that solar panel coming tomorrow. And then so it's made me think more of that, because that's probably the only thing that I'm really lacking here. I feel like I'm pretty sorted with everything else. It's just that side of things.
I mean, the D2s are good. The prices of the Delta 2 aren't going to stay that for forever. They're just burning through stock till they get the Delta 3 or into mainstream production.
And there's a link in the chat now for a Delta 2 for $499.
Anybody that's looking for a mid-range proven power bank, in my humble opinion, it would be that.
Yeah. It's definitely, especially when you can compare that now to similar sized power banks that are like these dodgy companies from, our friends in China, and they're charging more than what you pay for something that quality,
All going well. Hopefully 2 weeks' time, whenever the paperwork all gets sorted eventually, I'm going to spank another moderate amount of money on 2 Delta 2 Maxes. So that'll give me another 4 kilowatts of portable power banks, just to be on the safe side.
Moderate about a money. Look at that. 2 Delta Pro Maxes. I'm saving up for a 10 of gloss.
I can't fucking paint, mate, so it's all relative. What about you, Chef Preps?
If I could touch base very quick.
Yeah,
Mike, when you mentioned about being in the midst of a move, I get that, especially with prepping. Like, I do little but moderate sort of prepping at home, because at the minute we've only, in the last 12 weeks, oh God, you can tell the sleep deprivation's real. We've only recently just announced our son's birth, so in the last 12 weeks we've had our son.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, congratulations, man.
Thank you. I got reinforcements. I got 2 daughters, so I need the reinforcements. But no, it's made prepping for us a lot harder. But also, when you touched on the War Games podcast, my wife has been getting into that more so than me because I'm trying to do the family business. But I touched bases on it with her last night, and that it's incredible just to think how close we really. I know they're saying it's World War III now, obviously, what's just unfolded tonight, but it's just a real reminder of how close we have been for such a long time. And I think going through the move as well and noticing how much you've packed, how much you really have prepped, then you're looking back on it and thinking, could I have done more?
Yeah. Or should I do more? I mean, it's also a good learning curve if you could take lessons from that, right? While we're still in peace times.
Oh, definitely.
Just one there, mate, on what Benjamin said. So, like I say, we're having loads of discussions today about predominantly, mate, because my background is in missiles, isn't it? So, most lads that I talk to are from a missile background. So we were talking today, and weirdly, I suppose not weirdly, I was surprised about how many of them said they would go and fight if something kicked off.
All right.
Genuinely shocked. So my viewpoint was, when we were talking about it, I said, I'll just go to jail. There's no way I'm fighting again. I'm definitely not leaving this country to go and fight. I'll just go to jail. And one of the lads said to me, you forgot how addictive it is. I said, what do you mean? And he's like, you forgot how addictive it is on tour, haven't you? And when I started thinking back, and I know it's going to sound strange for everyone who hasn't been, how good of a time I had when I was on tour, I started second-guessing myself, and I started thinking, oh, you know what it is, actually? We did have some good times when we were over there, and you start tricking yourself, and that's what they were saying. They were saying, like, you forget how good it was when we were on that operational tempo, and we were there, like, 6 months on, 6 months off, back in pre-deployment training, back over there 6 months. They're like, you soon forget how addictive that was. And I only did the one tour, so maybe it's not as addictive as me. But lads who've done multiple ones, they were like, you forget how addictive it is. And I suppose it is, mate, when I think back now of how good of a time I have. And I've always been quite open in the fact of, if we were still in Afghan, I'd probably still be in.
Yeah.
So it is true what they were saying today. It just shocked me. I always assumed that, everyone would have a similar outlook to me. But if you lads want to go back in and fight,
I would. I'd go back in because I miss the camaraderie. I get what you're saying, but I also get what the chap you spoke to before about it is on about. It's like the call to duty, but it's more for the camaraderie and the good times and the things we get up to that we shouldn't get up to. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Don't take this the wrong way, Benjamin, but you sound like a Rupert, whereas Andy sounds like a Squaddy.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm down by Newport in South Wales.
That's not really answering the question.
Bri, that is the best compliment I've ever been given.
I now I've alienated and made a quiet spot in the whole chat.
No, it's not that. This me still sorting out audio and that. So what was it? What was it again?
No, I was just saying that you sounded like a Rupert, whereas he sounded like a Squaddy. That was all.
Oh, see, I'll take that as a compliment for myself. I'm happy with that. It just means again somewhere in the world.
Another random question then. Should folk be going out and buying lots of petrol at this moment in time, given they could lay mines in the Strait of Hormuz, start splashing tankers that are trying to get out? Thoughts?
I mean, you saw me post on Discord before, fill your tanks sort of thing. That's purely based on price. I don't think we're going to see any shortages. It depends how long it goes on for. If we've seen what we've seen, as in we've done this, now you're going to retaliate, and then that's it, then no. But what I'm hearing is Israel, this is the start of like a 7-day thing, not a one-off strike. So I think we're going to see that price spike massively. And where else can we get oil from, right? It's going to be Russia. So if we try and do that, that's going to come with a massive price tag as well, isn't it? So I think we're ever so close to them rolling blackouts, Brian, at some point soon.
Yeah. I mean, that's terrible. No, how terrible. No. No,
yeah,
please
he
no.
just wants a bit of vindication for spending, an average family's yearly income on power banks.
Everybody's got a few power banks, Mike. You sing it, my wife.
Yeah, all right.
Mike just uses his as paperweights.
What else am I going to use as a projectile? I've nothing else to use as a projectile in this country, Andy. All them power banks that I don't charge, I'm making a trebuchet for them, you see. That's the plan. There's going to be dead Delta 2s flying at the enemy.
Here's another consideration then. I've got all these random questions to float in. You don't mind?
Go for it. No. Hang on. There we go. Brian's the host. I'll sit back. There we go.
Today in the Naked News, we have the following article. Chunky guy gets thrown off YouTube. No, we're concentrating a lot on the physical aspect of our current climate. That's missiles, bombs, devastation. So the kinetic side of it. But what about, because Iran's already been accused of numerous cyber attacks. What if they just go grey warfare and start doing loads of hybrid things? I mean, they could potentially accomplish without one missile what they could do with a barrage of missiles and shut down power grids and banking across countries. What about that as a kind of threat axis and a worry?
Anyone?
What do you think?
I think, mate, in terms of Israel, if you're on about Iran, you're about Iran doing that with Israel.
To the world at large, Israel and its supporters. So for talking sake, we've seen the Co-op and we've seen Marks and Spencer's, Morrison's, McDonald's. This year alone, Barclays, TSB and Santander all been hit by cyber attacks. Who could have been China, Russia, North Korea or Iran? That could be, there might not be hundreds of missiles flying about, but what about if the next thing is do that?
I think the danger of that is that like they're between a rock and a hard place. Because, like I say, I don't think they have any means. I suppose that's the wrong word. They don't have any physical means to attack Israel back with. I don't think they do personally. Like you say, if they then go to cyber attacks and they do so, all's going to happen is they're going to get hit again by Israel because Israel's got to know who it is down there. They're going to know it's them, so they'll just get hit even harder.
Plausible deniability, though. Benjamin, you've been awfully quiet because I was ripping into your accent. What do you think?
Oh, no, you're all good. I was just replying to Andy over on Discord and chatting to the wife next to me. But if you want my honest opinion, I got a sneaking suspicion they are going to use sleeper agents after what's happened tonight, just being the opening night, and within an hour. Ukraine takes a massive hit in Kiev. So I think it said like 2 people are either injured or 2 people are dead already just in Odessa. So with the way it's all playing out, I think sleeper agents will be used and it will be in a couple of months. I wouldn't say a couple of weeks, but I'd say maybe end of July, beginning of August.
Will there still be a regime in a couple of months?
I think so, because even though they've sustained heavy losses, you know, look at history. Look what history's taught us. Anything can rise just from one small group.
I think there's a chance we'll see civil unrest within Iran and problems within their own streets. The problem the problem they're going to have is a lot of these sleeper cells and stuff like that, for want of a better word, are on a promise, right? You know, if you do this and martyr, your family gets this, that, and the other. But if there's no regime there to honour that, why would they then do it?
Apparently my vocabulary is limited, right? I'm just going by some of Philip's comments. Believe it or not, I make a conscious effort, because I've worked a lot in the UK, to speak slower so that our southern friends can actually understand the deranged ramblings of a semi-functioning northern monkey. So I'm trying to be polite, Phil. Can't. Anyway, Mike.
No, I already said my bit.
And Brian, think of it this way: at least you speak English, even though you've got an accent. At least you don't speak Welsh. That's harder to understand when you're tired, when you're drunk, or even when you're sober and you just mess up your words.
No, all you need in
down
Wales,
in Wales.
all you need is Wales is yawn. That's all you could say. Yawn to everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
The
yawn just
wife's the
means
fluent one.
yawn just means okay. So whatever inflection you put on it, it could be threatening yawn, or it could be, you know.
It could.
We were in Wales a year ago, kayaking across that big viaduct with the scary metal side and the sheer drop. And I was trying to ask for directions. And the only way I could have pronounced the words was if I'd swallowed my tongue or had a stroke. So,
I mean, you've got to be nice. PMC has just become a member. He's got a Welsh dragon as his profile picture. Don't be don't be alienating the new members.
It's okay. I can make him feel welcome. PMC, Poi Oiti, Bithu Deno D. There's some Welsh, everyone.
There you go.
he did what to his hamster?
Exactly.
Now say the place name, the Go Go Gok.
I can't. Only the wife can. I've tried for many years and I gave up.
Yeah, that was the trick to learn that. I lived in Blaenau Festiniog, which is North Wales, which is real Wales, not South Wales, where, you know.
Sounds like a type of cancer.
I think South Wales is the place that you leave at the bottom end of the world, just as a little village, and leave them to themselves. I think that's the way it works.
Some nice places down there. That's where they trained for the D-Day landings, if anybody didn't know. The beaches down on South Wales.
Andy, can I ask another last question, Mike?
Oh.
Right, Andy, your experience is missiles and things that go bang.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind...
I've got 6 kids. I'm experienced with things that go bang. It's fine.
Yeah, but unfortunately for you, yours didn't go bang prematurely. So you're stuck with explosions, mate. Given that we know how precarious the UK air defence is, as in it's virtually not there, and we've just spent the last hour talking about how it's only been 150 missiles that have hit Israel. See if those 150 missiles hit the UK, were targeted on the UK and launched in the same manner. I don't think we would have much left, would you think?
That would be ugly.
No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't have much up at all, mate. I think you would probably take a couple. You would take a number out if you scrambled. If the RAF scrambled quick enough, you could potentially take a number of them out, like they have for Israel. But in terms of any ground-based stuff, we've got nothing. Like
we got ship mounted though, right?
We have, mate, yeah, but that's predicated on the fact that the ship would be in the right position to then defend from the missiles. So the fact we only have 2, and I would bet you that War Games program's right, and only one of them's got ammo on it, which means we've only got 1. Mm-hmm. So wherever that's positioned in the country, all along the coastline, then that's pure luck. And I would imagine, mate, it's either going to be like in War Games, it's either going to be at Faz Lane, or it's going to be down the south coast somewhere.
Yeah, and the RAF scrambling and protecting airspace is again going to be Faz Lane, and I don't think that War Games was accurate. I don't think. How do I say? Well, I'm not even going to say it delicately. I don't think our shitty Prime Minister would say defend somebody else. He'd be like, "No, yeah, the rest of them over London and Whitehall, right?" I don't know, because he said,
fair, mate, I don't think we have enough fighter pilots and planes to protect 2 places anyway.
I think I can agree with Andy on that, actually. Me being more recent, as you know, Andy, from what I just sent you in Discord, no, I can actually, based on that, even pre-COVID, I could still say, nah, there's not enough, not by a long shot.
Hey, Mike, I'm gonna hop off my phone and get back on my bigger iPad. I'll come back as my real raccoon picture with the chef hat and all that stuff. I'll be back in a minute.
No worries.
See you in a bit, yeah. So, how viable would it be then to get, when they scrapped Rapier, is there any chance of getting some of them, or even the missiles, and like they've made hybrid, off-the-shelf mobile air defence systems for Ukraine. I don't know why we're not churning out a Frankenstein-type launcher, but for home defence, because we're churning we're churning out or building bastardized systems for Ukraine, and yet I think most days would agree tonight that if there was 150 missiles fired at the UK, there's going to be, even if let's say 2 Type 45s and they emptied both their missile batteries and they got 100% hits, at least half those missiles are coming down and hitting something.
True, and like I said before, mate, I think it was last Sunday. It's a good idea, which is why it won't be implemented. And even if, mate, it was, and I agree with you, right? So, say for example, we built some Frankenstein anti-aircraft system that could knock them out the sky, for example. We are so thin on the ground with people. I really don't know who you would get to man it. And if you did take them away, then you're leaving a hole or a gap somewhere else. So, in theory, mate, it's a good idea, but so thin on the ground, I don't know who would man it. And then also, mate, you've got on the other end, how would we, where we get the ammo from?
In your experience, Andy, how long expedited would it take to train civilians to man something like that, or like a civil defense corps or a dad's army kind of thing? How long, like, to be able to function at the bare minimum to defend us, how long training do you think they'd need?
Well, to be fair, mate, you've got peacetime training, haven't you? And then you've got wartime training.
Well,
so
I mean,
in theory, mate? Yes, I'm answering your question, mate. So what in theory would take us now, say, 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If it was SHTF and the army need to train people, you'd probably knock it out in a week.
And they'd be competent.
Because so look at it this way, right, mate? So if to get trained on exactly took me probably 3 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to be an MLRS DC, that course is 6 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you're in the TA, that course is then slimmed down to 2 weeks.
Okay.
Now, what they say is, if you do the 2 week course, you can't then fire that in wartime. But they're only saying that because we're in peacetime. I guarantee you, mate, if it was SHTF and you were still on the ground, those lads who'd only done 2 weeks
would be
soon in a launcher and they would be firing.
Yeah.
So that shows you how fast they can scale it down. If you can go from saying 6 weeks for a regular to 2 weeks for somebody in the TA, I would imagine that would be something that would be looking to implement if it was.
So if it was peace times we're talking about, and it was like we're just doing this to bolster our defence in general, which, you know, we'd like to hope that we're going to do at some point, would it be like a 6 week course for like a home defence, like a civil defence corps to man something like that?
Yeah, because I don't think whether you were regular, mate, or whether you were part of the civil defence force, if it was peacetime, they would just get the army. They would just get instructors from the army who instruct down at the Royal School of Artillery, for example, if it was us who were doing it. They would just come up to wherever you were, or you would go down to Larkhill, and you would just do the 6 weeks course, same as the regulars do, because you would have the time and you would have the availability.
Could I just touch base on that as well a second? Because I think I got a bit of a hypothetical scenario, but it might kind of aid in working out timeage for weeks of training. I remember back, I think it was the arse end of 2016, a group of mates of me decided to go airsoft into an old-fashioned mil sim. Not your standard, you know, I got a gun that's plastic, it's black and an orange tip. We're talking real imitation firearms and reenactments. I've seen a lot of normal civvies be able to handle, yes, granted, there's a lot of differences between a real imitation firearm and an actual firearm. We know this, but the practices are basically the same. The rules of engagement are basically the same. You don't go for instant headshots, you go for body shots, things like that. Now, if this is peacetime we're talking and you want to train people up, you could open up some kind of event, in a sense, not to waste time, but get people in and actually see how they handle themselves. Say to them, here's a M16 real imitation firearm. It's not the real steel, but show us what you got. You could get through a row of people a lot quicker and see who can handle one and who can't. Funnel them into 2 groups. And that way you've got a basis of who's going to take the longest, who's going to take the quickest.
Yeah, I mean, you'll find lots of people already have a lot of experience as well. So do you then make groups of people that are already firearms owners, people that already are competitive shooters?
I would say, yeah, because that way you're sorting out, in a sense, squads.
Yeah.
But not only that, there was a recent interview with Patrick Christie on GB News, and he went into the public asking a load of people, would they actually defend the UK at the minute if we were to come under a hypothetical threat or attack? And 90% of them turned around and said no, not anymore. So you got that.
I mean, but you've got to take that with a pinch of salt, right? It's very
definitely
easy for everyone to say no, but when the
threat of war,
when they're at the door, when they're at the gates, and they're on our shores, then I think that 90% would be people saying yes, I'll defend it because it's my bloody
agree,
family,
100%.
you know.
And yes, Chronicles, he was in London. It was just, like they always do. They just localize to one area. They never actually fan out much further than London when they do these kinds of statistics, which that's also another factor. That's only one group of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do that same survey on the airsoft sites. I used to do the World War II airsoft with them lads. A lot of them are older and stuff like that. But I think most of them would have said, yeah, they'll volunteer kind of thing. So,
I was asking around local town this morning when I went out to do some of the bills for me and the wife. And I asked a few people I knew in the local town. I said, would you actually stand up and fight now? I said, just forget about the Parliament, forget about who's in charge in the UK. If they came to your house, your doorstep, and kicked it in, would you defend yourself? Would you defend your family and that right? And straight away, it was, yeah, damn right.
Yeah, of course, when it's at your door. I mean,
I suppose the only thing, mate, with using seasoned, and I've been airsoft in a bit. The only thing that I would say, if you're, it's a good idea, by the way. But if you're using seasoned airsofters, the amount of bad habits you would have to spend drilling out of them. So potentially, mate, if you look at someone, you think, well, you're quite a good airsoft, you've got tactics down, but then you see them firing off 300 rounds from the hip and a high cap.
Well, exactly.
I know that's an extreme example.
And you're a bit more confident moving from cover to cover when it's BBs flying at you than you would be if it was rounds coming at you.
You won't get the same problem with people taking the hits, though.
Oh yeah. I'd like to. We should make a squad of people that don't take the hits in airsoft. They are the front line. Send them first. You never get hit. You should be fine.
We do already.
I'd go find all the duck hunters and let them take out the drones. Call them the drone squad.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Great idea.
That is a good idea, actually. You think of it. People that do clay pigeon shooting, they've got really good eye-hand coordination and snapshot target acquisition.
Yeah, and
people.
Safety. They have gun safety. They understand.
Yeah.
You could put a section of 4 of them together in amongst other groups, and their job was to black down drones with some buckshot.
But I mean, the range we're talking from me to a clay pigeon. If I take out a drone, the explosives on board, is that not going to be?
But not necessarily,
collateral?
Because a lot of them are as simple as a mortar round, and they crash the projectile into the ground. So now, if you've got a drone tracking across the sky, you've got seconds at the most to maybe take that shot. But if you've ever been clay pigeon shooting and you're shooting a clay that's running along the ground, or even when it's tracking towards you, you've maybe got 4 or 5 clays in the air at once. You've got a split-second choice to make a decision on what one you can hit, if at all. And people are maybe hitting 22 out of 30, and I'm talking an average shot. So these flimsy little propellers, it wouldn't take much out of 250 ball bearings in a skeet round to alter its trajectory by taking out a rotor or something. I think it's a great idea. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Every now and then I come up with a good one.
I mean, to be fair, mate, even if you just have them taken out advanced recon drones, if you're worried about the explosive element, if you just had them taken out the forward observers, and all the recon that we're doing, that'd be a great idea as well.
If they explode when you hit it with a buckshot or whatever, just make sure there's a bunch of them close together. So if you're going to shoot one, you're going to get a bunch of explosions. You're going to take each other out with the shrapnel. and you just better have a piece of steel to hide underneath of when all that garbage comes falling down.
Is it on the other foot? Is it a good idea to disguise our drones as ducks? Just throwing that out there.
I mean, if it works for Monty Python over a rabbit, why not?
I think over here, guys them as bald eagles. Might as well make it patriotic.
But what? Not in England.
Hang on a minute. So does
over
that
here,
mean
not over there?
Does that mean we should make our drones the Welsh dragon and just send wave after wave of dragons at the enemy?
There you go. Give him the long tail, and
Well, that's what we're already doing. Most of our military is make believe.
You're not wrong, mate.
Unfortunately, Mike, I'm going to need to split and run my son to his night shift. If I'm back in time, I'll pop on later if he's here.
No worries.
See you all, guys.
Later, Brian.
See you, Brian. Miss Worm posted Brian's channel in the chat as well. Help Brian get monetized by watching a few of his vids. He needs more power banks. So there you go. So make sure you go and check his channel out as well. He does not need more power banks.
So we were talking, earlier, Mike, about how poor we are in terms of what we have in terms of kit and equipment.
Yeah.
So I was talking lads today about launches, the MLRS, and I knew that we give everything we had went to Ukraine. So I knew at one point we had nothing. So I said to them today, how many have we got? And they said, oh, well, we've got, I think off the top, I can't remember the number off the top of my head now, but they've got X amount on order from America. America building them. So they're on order. But I said, yeah, but how many do we have here? And they went, oh, so we've got one. We've got one that's in the Royal School of Artillery down in Larkhill.
For training.
But yep, only for training, mate, and you can't fire it. So that's all we've got in terms of like the multi-launch rocket system capability. That's all we give them all to Ukraine. So the Ukrainians use them at the minute.
Yeah, you think I'm a little nutty saying I think this is something bigger because all the countries gave Ukraine all our extra stuff, which left us with nothing, and now we're going to maybe World War. You pick a number, and everything's falling apart everywhere. And where's all our stuff? Well, we have it on order. I got my Amazon order coming too, but the trucks are all broke down right now.
But I mean, that's the problem, though, right? If we were sending them our extra stuff, our surplus, as it were, it would never be an issue. But we're sending them everything.
Yeah,
yeah,
and they just wasted everything. I mean, they didn't care. Like, we'll just get more.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
go on, mate.
Go on, Andy. Sorry.
No, go on, mate.
Very quick. I just did a quick update on Ukraine to see how that was going tonight. And yeah, you guys might want to see Ukraine's map. They took quite a bit of a pounding over towards Sumy and Shotska and down around Zaporizhia.
Well, the attention of the world is elsewhere. It's the best time to make a move, right?
That's what I think he's doing. I think Putin's now taking advantage of the distraction because it looks quite nasty out there tonight.
So Anthea, mate, has just said in the chat there as well, and she's right. Earlier this year as well, we decommissioned all AS-90s, which were the 155mm self-propelled howitzer. Looks like a tank with an artillery gun on, and we sent all them. Yeah, we did. We give them to Ukraine as well.
Yeah, so we did. Yeah,
got none of them left now either.
No, because down by where I live, we down by the Royal Engineers, and so a couple of lads, and they said the same.
I mean, yeah. I talk constantly about a civil defence corps, a dad's army, getting the citizens ready and making us more resilient as a country. We would have nothing to supply to any sort of defence force for the country right now, right? I mean,
no, we've got nothing, mate.
Nothing at all.
By digging out some old Enfields, that the cadets use.
Absolutely nothing.
And to be fair, most of the stuff we had from back in sort of around the Falklands and all, most of that's all either decommissioned or lost to the ages.
Yeah.
Or in museums.
Not maintained is a surefire way to destroy them anyway, right?
Pretty much. I mean, at this point, we have literally got nothing right now.
All right. So my next video will be how to make a high-powered gas potato gun. All right, that you can put on top of your roof and aim potatoes at the drones.
Let me know. I did a golf ball cannon. That was fun.
Someone made one for an airsoft. We were talking about airsoft earlier. Someone made a rocket launcher with, it was just a lighter electric lighter ignition, so it made a spark, and all you did was unscrew the end of this tube, sprayed loads of hairspray in, closed it, potato, pressed the button, and this potato shot out. And they were using it only against vehicles on the airsoft event, but it dented one of the doors instantly, so I thought, that's a good idea. There you go, future UK armaments.
But I mean, even a few years ago, mate, as well, there was even talks of doing away with the Challenger tank.
Yeah.
Because somebody high up decided that Challengers the tank warfare wasn't going to be any use in the future.
Yeah, I heard that quite a while ago now.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I don't know what the scores were that, mate. I haven't kept up with that because obviously, like I say, most of the people I talk to is all missile-based stuff or artillery stuff.
The Challenger 2's been commissioned. Is it the Challenger 2 or the Challenger 3 that's been
Challenger 3,
commissioned
mate,
now? Yeah. So
they are commissioned. Oh well.
I'm sure that's what I read. I could be wrong.
The Challenger 3 has been, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It has been commissioned. I know that one. And I think they said the Challenger 2 were either being sent off to Ukraine or they were just being decommissioned and reused. I'm not sure on that side of it. So take that with a major grain of salt.
Yeah, there you go. It's BAE Systems that's involved with that. That's why I read about it. Yeah, we'll probably make 2 of them and stick them in a museum, but...
Next, you're going to tell me we're going to reenact the film Battleships, and we're going to just dust off all the old ships like the SS Great Britain and all, and just take them out.
Well, isn't the what is it? The HMS Warrior still down at Portsmouth? I'm sure that's probably seaworthy. We got a few nice 12-pounder sea cannons on there. We could do some damage.
I can't remember, mate. which ship it was now. But it's one of the new. It was one of the new Royal Navy ships, and it was a couple of years ago now. And they built it, and they spent billions of pounds building it. And then, where it was docked, they realised the power cables that they had weren't sufficient enough to work with it. So it was just sat there for ages, doing nothing, because she wasn't there to maintain it. And I think, you know what, mate? You know that War Games.
Yeah. That
War Games program, mate. Even I know it's not real, obviously. Well, we hope it's not going to be real too soon. How poor the quality of politicians is, the way they were handling stuff, and I thought to myself, I worked with some extremely brilliant guys when I was in the military.
I think they're more competent than the current government.
Not the army, I agree, but even still, the bar's not high, Mike, is it? To be better than them, and I just thought, how are you not? Like, and there never ever seems any sense of urgency, and I appreciate it's not real.
We've lived in a perpetual state of peacetime in this country since World War II, right? Obviously, there's conflicts, there's Afghan and stuff like that, but never anything on the doorstep, never anything threatening. Part of Europe, part of NATO, Big Brother will always come and save us. So, I mean, it's gone by that when somebody's appointed a defence secretary in this country, I don't think they need to have any sort of military qualifications whatsoever, because they don't do anything.
True. Yeah, true. But the only, like, we were talking about this today, mate, at work. Even if you let the RAF and the army whittle down and you don't pump any funding into them, like, and I know they haven't pumped funding into pretty much anything, but how on earth do you let the Navy go into that state of disrepair when we're an island? Surely, even if there was nothing going on, you would think an island needs a Navy. I mean, even if they don't give, like, myself in the army or the RAF money, you would think that some point in the past 60 years has said, you know what it is, guys, we're surrounded by water. Maybe we should invest some money into having a decent Navy again.
Yeah. Maybe Britannia rules the waves can become something again. It's absolute madness, but it's the same attitude. It's not just politicians in this country. It's people in general. Probably it's not us. Probably it's not the 154 people in here. But this country, we bury our head in the sand. Everything's fine. The sun will rise tomorrow. The Premier League will kick off soon. Everything just runs as normal. Nothing will ever threaten us, and that's the attitude people have.
No, they have the Roman attitude of give them bread and circuses, and they'll never stand up for themselves.
Or as the age-old saying goes in the UK, keep calm and have a cup of tea.
Yeah, it is.
Apparently, a cup of tea solves everything. Oh, there you are, guys. The absolute key to solving World War III. Just get a teapot, some tea bags, and everyone has a cup of tea.
Earl Grey.
If you had
Definitely.
if you had coffee over there, I'd join you, but I'm not a tea fan.
We have coffee. We're not third world.
Oh, you all drink tea over there. That's all they want is their Earl Grey hot. That's all they want. Yeah.
Quick question then. It might be a tentative subject considering history. Northern Ireland, Andy. What's going on over there? Have you seen all that on the news? And that's I'm getting flashbacks.
I saw something. Well, I was based there, mate. Wasn't that for like 18 months to a year?
There
was somebody in one of the army lads. Mate, said, I messaged him today and said, "What's the score with Ballymena? Like, what's happening on the ground?" type thing. And he sent me a statement back. And he said, "Starmer's going to get the Nobel Peace Prize." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, because he's managed to achieve something that no one in history has. He's united the Catholics and the Protestants.
Wow. Interesting swing on it. Interesting take on it. But it is troubles in Northern Ireland is not something you ever want to see in the news. I mean, luckily they've got the vehicles that our police haven't, and they've got the ways to handle it. But is that a prelude to what could happen here, Andy? Or do you think we're to have a cup of tea and don't get involved?
I don't know, mate. I think we are. I think like Ben just said, we are a bit too much like have a cup of tea and chill out. Like whereas in a lot from where like chefs from, it's ingrained in them to stand up for themselves to a large extent, and the Northern Irish mate are built that way. Mm-hmm. Like they don't take crap with anyone.
Yeah,
and they've got that like tenacity, mate, and resilience where if you're not listening to them, they will make the voices heard, which is what they've done. Whereas over here, like you say, mate, we just put our head in the sand, and it's just a case of, well, do you know what it is as well, mate? I think it's just it's a constant of over like the past 3 decades, the past 30 years, people have been screaming out for certain things, and they haven't been listened to, and I just think there's a real lethargy from the British public, which is I think really what it is. I think people are still upset, people are angry, but there's such a lethargy of.
Yeah, it's like the whole change and it over that 30 years, it's been party one, then party two, then party two, then party one, and it's the two-party system. And no matter what they promise and what they say, they steer this far right of centre or this far left of centre, and that's all. Nobody does this. Nobody goes this far. Nobody does makes the hard decision. If you make a hard decision, you're putting your MP's wage at risk, right? And they don't want to lose that salary and all them free gifts.
I think your question of, will you stand up? The United States probably has a slight leg up on the rest of the world where we haven't been, not totally, but I mean, we haven't been banned from owning firearms. I know you guys are not banned from owning them, but they've made your life miserable over there and every other country around any whatever. And that's I don't know. I think we got a slight head start on that one.
You've got a head start even if you take firearms out of it. You have the right to free speech, the Bill of Rights and stuff like that. And we have the illusions of free speech, and it's not in a Bill of Rights anywhere. There's nothing written down saying that we can say whatever we want in this country. It's as simple as that. So when people talk to me and they say on the channel, "Oh, it's going to be civil war over here, it'll never get to that boiling point, because as soon as somebody it's got to start with like organisations and build-ups and these protests that we're seeing. As soon as it gets too much, they'll just disappear. The people that are running it, so we've seen it happen. We've seen people arrested, put into prison, put into segregation for showing a video. Many people in the chat probably know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to say his name on here, but for showing a video, it's just ridiculous. And there's people that are walking the streets that have done much worse stuff. So I don't think it'll ever happen in this country. We just won't let it. We're a disarmed nation, both physically and mentally. My opinion.
No, I second yours there, Mike. It is. It's all gone. There's literally just shadows. That's what the UK has become. The UK has just become a massive shadow.
Yeah.
We are a shell of what we were.
There's just no logistics in it. There's no
No, there ain't.
logistics in it. How could you possibly do anything against the norm, the grain, the government in this country? It's just not possible. You haven't got the logistics for it. And I would
Yeah.
never condone it in any way anyway, obviously. You know,
Exactly.
watching Mr. Spy watching me in the chat. What's that knock at the door? They've got a good response time when they want it. So, yeah. Anything else? What's your takes on the Northern Ireland side of things, Renegade?
In what regard? In
what's happening over there, and
well, with the riots and everything.
Yeah, and will that escalate? And could that?
I think it's going to escalate quickly.
I don't think into the UK.
Yeah, think of it this way: friends have got friends. They all discuss it. I mean, social platforms being the major one of them, and some people have very easy to not so much manipulate, but like easily what's that old term? I can't think of the word for it right now, but they're easy to impress, and with the way people are starting to communicate and share, like, oh, look, the UK is abandoning us, the government's abandoning us, let's all start, getting together and showing our views. Look at how it's all spread into mass chaos. It's all gone from what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. It's already spilled into the UK with Iran and Israel. The riots themselves in Northern Ireland, they have become a massive. There's just been a massive ramp in intensity in just the protests in Ireland in general. It's gone from seeing what's going on in the world. They've looked at that and thought, well, let's do it here. So I just think it's literally just going to keep escalating until either I don't know. It's either going to be. I want to say it, but I don't know if it's going to get us in a bit of trouble. But
don't worry, Brian does that all the time.
No, that's all right then. I can't really see the police being able to police this because it's going to get out of hand too quick. Mm-hmm. So they're either going to copy what's happened with Trump and LA, because that is
boots on the ground.
Oh yeah,
sort of thing,
that's definitely an option they're going to consider. I think because, well, I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday where they announced that they're allowing Trump's what do you call it? Policy about having the boots on the ground. Was that yesterday or was that this morning?
This morning.
That was this morning. Yeah, this morning the wife managed to catch that the courts about Trump's ruling with the boots on the ground in LA was all authorized, basically, for layman's terms. Right. And that's what they're going to do here. Give it another couple of weeks of rioting, and it's going to start happening here. But I don't think they would actually put too much of the military on the ground. I'd say a couple of boots here and there, and a few either rubber rounds or beanbags, something like that.
I think the problem they're going to have is as soon as you put a uniformed British soldier on Northern Ireland streets, lots of people are going to wake up to, come up with old feelings. I don't know how to best to word it.
Oh, sorry. Were you on about putting British troops on the streets of Northern Ireland?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Never happened.
That'll never happen.
I can remember a quick story, right, mate. So when I was in Northern Ireland, G4S did all of the front gate security. Mm-hmm. And they were going on strike for better pay or better conditions, whatever it was. I can't remember what it was now. And we never ever did the front gate or anything in Northern Ireland for that reason. They didn't want troops technically on the ground. It was just a big no-no. So G4S did all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But they went on strike and there was nobody on the front gate. So a couple of lads, mate, got detailed off to go out the front gate. And I swear to God, mate, they were up there about 3 minutes before there was a camera crew and it was all over Sky News, British troops back on the streets. Before I don't know who it was, someone rang up and said, give G4S whatever they want and get those lads off the front gate.
I get it, and I understand why, the history behind it and stuff like that. But if the police can't control it, what's the options?
But it's a lot easier to be done in America, mate, because of the rules. There's rules regarding deploying troops on the ground in that role here.
Yeah, but if if the Northern Ireland police cannot contain what's going on in the Northern Ireland, our only option surely is troops. What other option have we got?
What they've done in the past is they've supplemented it with people from the Met, haven't they? Or British police. So British police have went over to supplement them to prepare more numbers. No way on this planet, mate, are you getting British troops on the ground in Northern Ireland.
I wouldn't think so, but I can't see the police are even overstretched already. We send Met Police over there. It's going to detriment some areas over here as well.
Don't forget, so mate, the PSNI, mate, so Police Service Northern Ireland, they have at their disposal all the tools that the British military have.
Yeah, they do.
So I don't understand what having the British military there would do, except cause more trouble. It makes more sense to me to supplement British police officers over there and just bolster the numbers.
Be the final.
Yeah, I thought you were on about PCNI. That was my bad. That's why I went on about British troops.
It would be the final nail in the coffin for Starmer if he did that, though, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, that would polish Starmer off.
Yeah, not that it's not already there.
Yeah, I was going to say though, but can he actually hurt his reputation anymore?
I mean, yeah.
How much lower can we actually go? Can he actually go?
Well, you started the bar here at killing our grandparents with the winter fuel allowance, so it doesn't get much lower.
The only place is up.
Yeah, that's it.
Are we sure about that for Starmer though?
I feel whoever is running for whatever party in the next election is going to revive the 90s Blair "Things Can Only Get Better" song.
Here's a bit of a controversial question though, but who would you rather run the UK if, I know it's only hypothetics now, but it's a bit relevant in a sense, because look at what we got now with Starmer. Who would you bring back from like sort of the World War II era up to say the Falklands, through that sort of bracket? Who would you have to fix this mess?
Churchill.
Yeah.
only because he ignores what you should be doing, and that's what we need. We need a break from the norm.
See, I asked a guy, Norfolk UK's got it, but I asked a guy up in Games Workshop this afternoon about this, and he went straight for that. For the Iron Lady.
Well,
it's not a bad shout, you know. It's not a bad shout.
It would divide the country for sure.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But yeah, Powell, Mrs. T, or is that Mr. T? Yes, Churchill, says Phil. It's a difficult one because I think we need something that we've not had for 70 years. You know what I mean? I think we need somebody. So, I mean, I tried to shy away from politics when I first started the channel, but then I just gave up and just, showed my colours sort of thing. I liked reform based on the policies before Farage was even involved.
Yeah, I agree there.
Because I read the policies, and as I'm reading it, it was the conversations I have in the pub with friends. When you all sit around thinking, well, we know what's wrong with this country, we know how to fix it, why the fuck don't the people in power? And that's how it read to me. Like, we know what's wrong, and we know how to fix it. And that's how it read to me, and that's what was the appeal.
You know what? I was thinking about this bit today. The way around the whole politician thing. I don't think you should get paid for being a politician, for being an MP. That way, you would weed out all the people who are in there now. Because none of them in that... No one in that place, mate, is doing it for the love of the country.
No, they're not.
They're doing it for the wage. And what we'd do is, mate, like, you don't get paid, but maybe some incentive, whereas if you're a plumber, you don't pay tax. So your wage is your wage, but you're an MP as well on top of that.
Pay them the national living wage. Because they think we can live on it, so pay them what they think we can live on.
Well, what about special constables in the police force? Some, like, special constables, voluntary.
Yeah. Good call, mate, yeah.
Something like swap the roles. Yeah. Even if you, like Mike said, put them on national living wage. Yeah, do that for the politicians. But then what you want to do is take the pay from the politicians, the rest of that pay, and give it to the special constables.
There you go. I mean, there's loads of ways to do that, but that's never going to happen, right? They're never going. No, they won't give up the free clothes, let alone the salary sort of thing.
Exactly.
And yeah, I think it should be voted on. That's what I would say. Their salary should be voted on.
Yeah.
By us, the people. That's the way I would do it, because if that's your full-time job and you're doing some good in it, yes, you deserve to be paid, but you don't deserve to be paid more than somebody on our front line, in my opinion. So yeah, never going to happen. We know this. Politicians will get paid. If they're not paid, you'd only get rich people who don't need the money standing to be an MP.
No,
yeah, well,
I don't think you would.
Yeah, that's a big point.
I don't think you would, mate. Because
because
Why would a rich person, mate, who's got all the ambition and drive to become rich?
Yeah.
Why would they then give all of that up to go into a job with the vitriol and the abuse and all the pressure that comes with it for nothing?
One answer. What comes with rich and money? Power. That's why they're doing it. Power.
That's right.
If they thought they could get the power, the overall say.
You could right, mate, but I just don't believe. I don't believe anyone in that building is doing it just for power. None of them would do it for free.
Thatcher would only be good if it was an election year.
No,
power and
attention.
attention.
Saying,
power and attention, Lady J says.
No, I see what you're saying though, there, Andy. I do. I see what you're right. I see what you're saying. But I think Mike is right though. In a small little bit, I do think Mike is right though.
Well, I mean, it's
power.
Yeah, and you're going to get that's going to be individuals, right? That's not going to be everyone. I think the majority, like Andy says, will be like, "Why should I invest my time in that when I can go and make another 10 billion?" But you are going to get individuals that seek the power more than the wealth. And the fame, I suppose. Liam Max said before, this podcast gives me the feeling the government is trying to tell us without telling us, as it gives plausible deniability, especially with the ex-MPs who are taking part as they are so well known. Talking about the War Games one.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing that people are hearing it. The thing is, we are all hearing it, but how many people, has anyone spoke to anyone else that's not a prepper or not into this? Have they been listening to it? Is it popular beyond our circle? That's the question, I suppose.
Well, I mean, even the lads I spoke to, veteran-wise, mate, and still saying I spoke to them about it, and none of them had even heard about it.
Exactly.
So even, to be fair, mate, it hasn't been promoted well, has it?
No,
the only reason I know about it is because Miss Worm told me in Discord.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's it. It's Big Brother USA will come and save us all. That's the thing. It's like when they give the half an hour they gave to prepping on Good Morning Television on ITV sort of thing, which was just, oh, here it is. This is what it is. And goodbye, you have. That's it. And the amount of people that didn't see it, there has to be a national campaign. It's got to, somebody in government must be watching it. Do you think they're watching it, Andy? Do you think somebody's paying attention and in power?
Mm.
Because it's technically, the way they're selling it is these war games happen all the time, but this is not classified. That's the difference, right?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, even if they are listening, do they care? That's the main thing. Do you know what I mean? Like that, I said it before, mate, on the fireside, that, you know, they've promised 3.5% of GDP for defence, but that's by the year 2034. So you've got 9 years to implement it, and you're not going to be in power. So I even say it.
Yeah.
Like, so even if they are listening, mate, I don't. Just one, Mike, just a shout out to Jay the Grey, because he's put loads of good stuff up today in Discord.
Yes.
Loads of articles, loads of stuff on X. So shout out to Jay the Grey for doing all that work a bit and putting it in Discord.
Yeah, that's the best thing about the community. It's like I've been more informed over the last 3 or 4 months than I've ever been before, because I don't have to check it every morning. It pings on my phone because somebody else has found something. And like you say, Miss Worm pointed us all to that podcast. So another reason to join the Discord if you're not already. Amphia has a question. With the recent Canadian prepper interview and when I watched 3 B-2 stealth bombers flying over Dundee, was NATO preparing for nuclear war back in 2020 and 1 billion deaths? I've not seen the recent Canadian prepper interview.
I don't watch him, so...
I stopped watching him about 2 years ago. I actually commented, and he replied to my comment, "You'll be back." I'm like, hell I will. He's just a fear monger. He was doing, I seen a couple here and there. I'm not subscribed. I just seen a couple here and there. It's like, oh, your World War III update. It's like, oh, shut the hell up.
I mean, 2020, what was happening in 2020?
COVID, mate.
Yeah. Lockdown.
Yeah. Let's buy my masks.
Yeah. Maybe they were preparing for 1 billion deaths. I'm not sure. I can't honestly answer your question there, Amphia, because I really don't know. I'll watch the interview and I'll get back to you. That's the best I can do.
Who did you interview with?
No, that's the question. Who was it? Yeah.
Probably the Canadian News Network.
Yep. No, I see it. Oh, there you go. Jay the Grey's in the house. Thank you for all your help today, Jay. It kind of helps putting these things together when everyone's giving the news as well. But yeah, there's no more questions and there's no more missiles at the moment, so all quiet on the Eastern Front.
I've got something to say about it, actually.
Go ahead.
You know that I know we've talked a lot about that War Games podcast, but you know in episode 2, spoiler alert, guys, if no one's listened to it,
yeah, fingers in ears time.
when Ben Wallace rang up the SecGen of NATO and said he wanted to invoke Article 5, and all those countries were like, yeah, well, it's not getting invoked. I thought, I can see that being real and that happening, but I thought how much of a bluff that treaty is. For the past 75 years, that has been a massive bluff. And if it gets called, and Russia, for example, in that game, realizes that's just a massive bluff, and he calls it, and nothing happens. Because then off the back of that, I looked at how many times it's been invoked, and it's only been invoked once, and that was at 9/11.
Yeah. On that, you've got to kind of admire the tactic of the Gibraltar thing.
Very clever, mate, that.
Yeah.
Very clever.
Very, very smart, because that gets a NATO country on side instantly. Not that we're probably going to give it away next week anyway.
Very clever.
But that was really clever, and the balls to ring USA first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very clever, that, mate, especially when I don't know whether they've done that off the back of Starmer saying that the EU can now control the border of Gibraltar. I don't know whether they've done it off the back of that, or whether that was done before he did that. And it's just
I think this is already all done. I think it's all already recorded. So
it was. Yeah. It was a simulation they had done back. I think, if I remember, Deborah Haynes saying a piece about it when they did the press coverage of it before it released the first episode. They said it was done. I think it's either 6 to 8 months apart from each other back last year.
Right. So that's even more scary how accurate it is.
Yeah. So those people playing the Russians were banging the money, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just scary.
But like I said, take these with pinches of salt. I've been up all night. I've had 2 hours of sleep and running 2 monitors watching like Ukraine, Sky News, and what was the other one we were watching? Sky News and which one? I don't know you say it. I think it's like Osnet or Osint, and it's the full cameras of Tel Aviv and all from last night as well. So I'm all over the place.
Well, listen, worrying gets you nowhere. This is what we say. You just got to prep and then wait. There's beyond our control, unfortunately, all of this at this stage. There's an announcement an hour ago from Islamic Republic of Iran on X. Big surprise. 3 Israeli F-35 fighter jet pilots were captured by Iran. One of them is a woman. That's the exclamation mark. That's the big surprise that one's a woman. But 3 pilots captured, so that's negotiation power for them if that's true.
Andy, I just want to quickly shoot a question at you. The Russian doomsday radio frequency. Yes. Have you guys heard about the recent... I'll see you guys, actually, and Micah's and Chef as well. Have you heard that that's come to life recently again? Ooh, and if so, what's your thoughts on it? Apparently, the old Soviet nuclear broadcast system kicked into activity back, I think it was like fortnight, 3 weeks ago. And
so this is...
there was a post on it.
This is related to their dead man's hand system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how integrated that would be into their modern weaponry and if it's a scare tactic. It happened as well at the start of the Ukraine conflict. It came back on and every channel was posting these weird beeps that were coming out for it every so often and stuff like that. And
that's
they were
right,
saying that's what it is. Now, if it's a system they still use, then yeah, it's whether they broadcast it or not, I suppose. And I do think it's a scare tactic, but whether their dead man hand system is another bluff like our NATO membership is a bluff is the question, I suppose. Anyone that doesn't know, the dead man's hand thing basically is missiles that are preset to launch to targets, and a code has to be manually inputted every so often by a human being to stop the launch. And if it's not put in, then they launch because they think that guy's been vaporized, as it were. So don't be late for work if that's your job. What were you going to say there, Andy?
I do believe that they've got the balls to have something like that.
Yeah.
Well, it was a real thing.
100%.
It's whether it's still a thing now.
Yeah, whether it's still working. Yeah,
it's because, I mean, if you tied that into all your Cold War systems, I imagine that's a bunker somewhere with tape decks on the wall and everything. It's like, if that 50s technology is integrated with modern, I don't know, or if they've just constantly updated it, or if it's gone by the way by. That's the question, I suppose.
Just an interesting, like, that's what maybe people don't find interesting tidbit. My old job, I was talking to a guy who was a submariner, and he worked on the nuclear subs, and he said that they have an unwritten code, or they have some agreement anyway. The captains of the nuclear subs,
The unspoken code.
yes, mate,
I
yes,
think.
something like that, yeah. And according to him, in each safe on the submarine, they all have a bottle of their nation's drink in the military. So for us, for example, it might be port. For Russia, it might be vodka, for example, right?
Surely we've got rum, Navy rum.
Oh, maybe, mate, yeah. And what they've that's because I'm army. I said port. So what they've all said is, mate, if nuclear war happens and it fires, all those nuclear submarines meet up in the Arctic Circle, and they all pop the hatches and have a drink together to celebrate the end of the world. That's what he told me. Whether it's true or not, who knows?
Wow, I mean that's a moment. That's something that should be in a movie. That reminds me of the Christmas World War I trench football game.
Yeah.
That kind of story thing. But yeah, it's at the end of the day, no matter which nutters bark in the orders, it's a human that's got to input it or pull the trigger, right? So it's whether they have a conscience at the end of the day in that moment. What's that film? Oh, submarine film where they think they've got a real launch code and they're not sure. Denzel Washington.
Not Crimson Tide, is it?
Crimson Tide.
Yeah,
Great film.
good film.
Great music.
I suppose as well, mate. Like I know you're saying it's a human on the other end of the submarine,
Yeah.
and I suppose it is true. But if you're 400 feet below the ocean, and someone on the radio is telling you that Russia's hit the UK,
Yeah, if they've already
what I mean?
hit. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
but even if that, mate, you wouldn't know, would you? Same on
Yeah.
the Russian side. If Russians are telling you and your sub, the UK have just hit us and they've taken out Moscow and XYZ, and you think, now I've got family who live there, we're going to get them back. You just hit the button.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't know anything, do you? 400 foot underneath the water.
Yeah. And then you've resurfaced to the apocalypse. Israel are back to hitting Iran, apparently. Yeah, it's a 7-day, at least a 7-day operation from what I'm hearing. Israel hitting Tehran. No, it wasn't Red October. It was the other one, Crimson Tide.
Red October is still a good film. Sean Connery, great actor.
Yeah, I like Red October. There was just something. I think it was the Hans Zimmer music in Crimson Tide that sold it for me.
Oh yeah, the official soundtrack is phenomenal. Same with it's Greyhound, isn't it? Your favorite film with Tom Hanks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Greyhound as well. The wife's favorite with Tom
Greyhound.
Hanks.
I've not seen that yet. I've not seen
That's
that
World
yet.
War II, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's about the U-boats. What were they called? Sweetheart. The Wolf Pack, weren't they?
Yeah.
About the Wolf Pack.
So this is the post that came up after the initial attacks. Nuclear missiles are safe. So basically trying to say they've already got these nuclear missiles. Now
Those pictures have been around for a while.
Now time to use them, yeah. Yeah, they're recycling the same propaganda images every time.
Somebody said, mate, in the chat earlier, and I can't remember who it was, so apologies. But somebody said the tyres don't look like they've got much weight on them.
That was me.
Oh, was it you? Oh, yeah, Chef who said it, yeah. The wheels don't look like they've got much
if you
weight on
zoom
them.
in on the tires on the bottom there, can't really zoom in on some of the other pictures. Yeah, they're not holding it. There's like no weight. They're not pushing. Yes, they have 6 double axles, so there's 24 tires in the back there, but those things aren't exactly light. Those tires will have a little bit of squish to them.
Yeah.
And they don't. I mean, I don't think, not those, but I don't think they're solid tires like my dog's barking now, like that forklift on the left top, the top right picture of the left side, that forklift, they got solid tires. So
yeah. Yeah, I've seen them solid forklift tires crush a steel toe cap. But yeah, it's the same propaganda images, and I think it's a lot of bluster at the end of the day. So we shall see. Hopefully it doesn't go on much longer, and we'll see what comes of it. I think we'll have to call it a night because we've been on for a couple of hours. Just anyone in here, there's 137 of you in here as well. If you don't do anything else, make sure you go and check out the Bombardier and his YouTube channel and all of his content, and subscribe to him for giving up his time tonight. Same for Chef Tech. If Miss Worm's got Chef Tech's channel, I can't remember. You got 2, haven't you?
Chef Tech 86 or Mad Chick Acres.
There you go. So go and check them out. Renegade, are you a YouTuber yet?
We will be. So this is our new channel. We got a gaming channel called Renegade. Bless me, that was good timing. Renegade Gaming Network. And yeah, make sure you all in watching go to Andy, Mike, and Chef as well.
Yeah. Cool. Good stuff. Any final thoughts on tonight, Andy, and then goodbyes?
No, it was really good, mate. It was really good chat. It was good to have Chef and Ben on. It was really good, mate. Really good chat tonight. Some really good questions. Some really good conversations. To be fair, mate, I think I might start putting more military based stuff out on my channel, talking about stuff I know.
Information wise,
mate. Yeah. People in the chat seem to enjoy it. So yes, I might start doing that, mate, in the not too distant future. But yeah, it was a good chat, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Good stuff.
Yeah, thanks. I got to get more freeze-dried videos up. I have tons of them. I just haven't had a chance to compile it and edit it and put them up. I probably have like 4 or 5 videos up right now. So I'm not like, oh my God, please subscribe to me. It's like, no, I really don't have much there right now. But hey,
but still go and subscribe.
Shadow, yeah, I know they will. Shadow Scout will. I'll be on his tomorrow, and I'm sure I'll be driving through one of my local towns here to see what's going on with my camera in the dashboard, like I did last weekend.
That'll be interesting. So, what time does Shadow starts at 8, right, or 7?
Your time, I don't know. It's he starts at 2:00 Eastern Standard Time in the United States. So
it'll all be happening then.
Yeah, like right now it's 5 p.m. my time. What time is it by you?
10.
10. Okay, so 5-hour difference. So if he starts at 2, that means 7 p.m. your time or thereabouts.
So make sure you go and check out Shadow Scout Swede, and we might get a frontline seat to all this stuff that's going on.
Yeah, to some of the American BS that's going on.
Yeah. Ben, it's good to have you on for the first time. Would you like to any final thoughts and goodbyes?
Okay, quick final thoughts. Yes, I'll be well rested for next time and not on an hour's sleep with 3 children. No, seriously though. Thanks for having me on, guys. It's been great to actually talk as best as I can in this capacity. Apart from that, yeah, I'm just going to be chucking some tinderbox videos up on this channel, on the UK Preppers, Renegade Preppers UK channel. It's basically very quick, a small tinderbox in, you guys know them if you go Poundland, those £1 tobacco trays that have the lid. Chuck a load of wire wool in there or some sawdust and a couple of wads of cotton wool.
Spoilers?
No, spoilers aren't spoilers if you want to give a little bit away. Won't give the rest away, not designs. That'll be a surprise. But no, honestly, thank you guys for having me. And yeah, I hope you guys do this again soon. Yeah, and hopefully Renegade's starting a channel. He'll come and join me on the Prepper podcast and we'll do an interview on there as well, all about his prepping. You got my email? Just send me a message. Yeah, we'll sort that out. Thank you to Miss Worm for moderating this evening, giving up her time. Really appreciated. Check out her channel as well. If you want to break from the chaos and the horror that's going on in the world, go and see her horror instead, and she can read you a nice story. So go and check her channel out. Published author and awesome moderator. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you to my guests, and we'll see you on the fireside on Sunday. Goodbye.